What's up guys, it's Adam FPL and welcome back to another video here on my channel. In this video we're going to go over my points briefly for Game Week 11, my future transfer thoughts for the coming game weeks, and how the team is lining up for Game Week 12. So as always, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell down below, and let's get on with the video. So Game Week 11 saw a really high average score for all FPL managers, with the average being 62, which is probably the highest it's been this season. Yup, you've heard that right, 62 points, and I got actually below the average by a few points of 58, which is unfortunately leading me to a 200k red arrow to about 1.9 million, just above it, and obviously I'm not really happy with my total score, and with the fact that I had 10 men and a few bench players coming in for those 2 pointers, it didn't really help my score. But this was a week where all the premium basically returned, with the likes of Fernandez, KDB, Salah, Son, Sterling, etc. And you can't really have them all, so it's just kind of about who you had and what you could have done with those players. With that being said, I'm looking to move past this game week and move on to Game Week 12, where with 2 free transfers, I'll be looking to make some changes in my team and get some players where the points have been lacking, and hopefully this will help me, and I'm having a positive outlook and trying to move up those ranks in the coming games as much as possible. So in defense, it was another pretty lackluster performance, with Martinez not even playing as he was out due to Newcastle having COVID and being unable to play, so their match was postponed, but he's going to be back for the next couple game weeks, and he's going to have nice fixtures. And with Lamptey and Justin, with the 1 and 2 pointers, so Lamptey against Southampton, I was hoping for an attacking return. Again, he looked lively, but it didn't amount to any points. And Justin, who surprisingly let in a goal, Leicester let in a goal against Sheffield. When I got him for those Fulham and Sheffield games, and Justin hasn't got me any significant points, so that's kind of a letdown. And Chilwell, his first blank of the season, so I can't really get mad there. 2 points, and Reece James got an assist, so Chelsea's defense still looks solid going forward. And Cancelo, who was actually the surprise of the game week, he started in Pep's lineup when everyone thought he was going to be benched because he played midweek, and he ended up getting those 6 points, which proved to be very valuable this week where my points total was so low. In the midfield it got even worse, as my captain Bruno Fernandes did not start against West Ham. In fact, I did predict this, so it wasn't as much of a surprise, but it was very unfortunate. But what do you know, he ended up coming on for the second 45 when Manchester United were looking dead in the first half, and he provided the spark, creating 8 big chances in 45 minutes, and he should have had more points if Rashford and Greenwood could finish their chances, but it is what it is, and Fernandes is a definite hold right now for me. And Cliff with 2 points, so he's the problem in my team. He'll probably be out this week. He's not really a good FPL points player, but he is nailed on. He's on penalties, but that is what it is with him. And Son with 13 points, and I might as well group Kane in this area. So them two got me the points again. The Spurs boys, they just need a couple chances on the counter attack or wherever, and they're so both clinical, so it's going to be hard justifying to get rid of them. But I think I'll have to if I want a premium in the midfield like Salah or KDB. And Mendy and Calvert-Lewin, so Mendy had to come on for Jack Grealish, and he ended up getting the 2 points, which I expected. And Calvert-Lewin, it keeps ticking along, like last year's Raul Jimenez. He got the goal again. Surprisingly, no bonus points, but I'm loving the goals. And even though the fixtures get tough, it's also going to be a hard sell with the consistency that he has right now. Moving on to the current bust team for Game Week 12, as you can see, we still have 3.6 million left in the bank, so I'm looking to use up some of this money and improve my team. But we still have, first, we have Martinez in net against Wolves. I'm hoping for some points there, as Martinez has kind of been lacking in terms of points recently. And I'm hoping that since Wolves have struggled scoring, I'm hoping that Martinez can keep a clean sheet there. Chilwell against Everton. Since I have Calvert-Lewin as well, I reckon there will be goals in this matchup, as Everton do like to score quite frequently. And I'm just hoping for a Chilwell attacking return, as Everton on the flip side have been very shaky defensively. And Justin against Brighton. Brighton can't really score as well either, as they're poor finishing. But Leicester have been pretty frail defensively lately, so I'm hoping that Justin can get a clean sheet hopefully. And he's also been quite involved in the attacking third, putting in a lot of crosses, so maybe he can get an attacking return as well, as that would be great, as so far this transfer hasn't looked ideal. And Taylor against Arsenal, so I'm currently at a dilemma starting Taylor against Arsenal or Cancelo against United, with the uncertainty of Pep Roulette, and Arsenal have been lacking quality, especially of late, and Burnley are known to be a quite tight defensive team that are hard to break down, so I'll have to make this call later in the week, but right now I have Taylor in the starting 11 here. In midfield, first we have Heung-min Son against Crystal Palace, so this is a good fixture on paper for Spurs, as Crystal Palace aren't a very strong team, and I'm hoping for some points there for Son, as he's just so clinical. And now we have Salah in the second position in midfield, who is one of the new transfers of the week. I'll talk about that in a second. Against Fulham away, he's a prime captaincy option if he starts, given that he did play 90 in the Champions League against Midtjylland, it is a bit of a risk that he doesn't start, but in the hope that he plays and scores a couple of goals or something like that, he's a great captaincy option if he starts, especially. And Bruno Fernandes against Manchester City, he's not really a good captaincy option this week, given that he plays City, who is one of the best defensive teams in the league this season so far, and it's the Manchester Derby, so it's kind of unpredictable what's going to happen. With Grealish against Wolves as my fourth midfielder, I think this is a decent fixture on paper against Wolves, given that they just got thrashed against Liverpool, and Aston Villa are a pretty high-octane team offensively, so I'm hoping for some goals here, especially only for Aston Villa, and yeah, that's the midfield, I guess. So now onto the forwards, we have Callum Wilson first against West Brom. So Newcastle play West Brom after their game last week got postponed. It was said in the news that they have been returning to training again in groups, and their first team should be back, so this game should go on as scheduled, hopefully, and this is a prime fixture for Newcastle, even though these two teams are both weak in their own respective ways. Now for the last two forwards in the front three, we first have Calvert-Lewin, who goes up against the in-form and rock-solid defense Chelsea, but Calvert-Lewin has been scoring week in and week out, so it's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object kind of thing, so I think that there could be points here for both teams, even though I have Chilwell and Calvert-Lewin kind of going against each other, but this could be an interesting game, and Bamford is the second transfer in of the week for me with my 2 free transfers, and Leeds go up against West Ham, who they are okay defensively, but they can get some goals leak through, and Bamford has just been getting so many chances week in and week out, and I just brought him in. I'll talk about it a little later in the transfer segment of my video. Also worth noting that Cancelo is on the bench as well as Lamptey, and I'm debating starting Cancelo against United, as he did get rested in the Champions League midweek, and he's been playing very well in Manchester United versus Man City. Who knows what can happen in that game? There could be attacking returns, there could be a clean sheet, so let me know in the comments below who you think I should start on my defense out of Taylor, Lamptey, Justin, and Cancelo. So now if we hop on over to my live transfer page here on the FPL website, as you can see I made those two aforementioned transfers in the previous segment, so I made Salah and Bamford in for Click and Kane out. So I was thinking a lot about this move, and looking at my team, I think that it's a decent move, even though getting rid of Kane is really tough, as he's been one of the top point performers so far this season, and Spurs fixtures are going to turn good after these next few fixtures they play that are a little bit tougher in the next few weeks, and Spurs are top of the table. They've been playing very well, right? But I got out my weakness, who I've been talking about in my previous videos. I upgraded him to Salah, who obviously is probably one of the best players in the game. He's consistent and whatnot. He's got all those things. So Click to Salah is a big upgrade, and given that I didn't have any Liverpool players in my team, this is a vital move, especially this week when they play Fulham and he's a prime captaincy option. Now obviously he did get rested against Midtjylland, or he didn't get rested, he actually played the full 90 minutes midweek against Midtjylland, which is a cause for concern that they'll rest him against Fulham, as Spurs play they play Spurs in like 3 days after that, so there's a little cause for concern there, but now I can plan to and probably get City players somehow in the future. And so my other transfer was Bamford in for Kane. So like I said before, Kane is probably one of the best players so far in this season, but he's just so much money at 11 million, and I think that in the striker department there's a few strikers in like the 6 million to 8 million price range that obviously won't get more points than Kane or even keep up with him, but I think that they'll be close to him. And the likes of Calvert-Lewin here, Bamford and Wilson, and like Che Adams for example, and Watkins, they're all taking along kind of nicely, and for their price they're great value. Now Bamford is an elite side that are constantly attacking whether they're up or down or whatever, and Bamford just gets a ton of chances. He isn't the most clinical like Calvert-Lewin or Wilson here, but he just gets so many chances. And look at these fixtures for Leeds coming up. They play like this whole run right here. These are great fixtures for him to score every other week. I don't expect him to have that Kane output, but he's just a good player to have, and he's also very highly owned, I think around like 36%, so every time he scores it's kind of a rank killer for me, so I'm kind of happy that I can get him in. And in terms of future game weeks, obviously the weakness in my team that you probably all see, guys, is I don't have any Man City midfielder, so it's kind of hard right now to switch to the 3-5-2, as this will take a long time, and Man City's fixtures were already in that time where they have that amazing fixture run. So my likely thoughts are right now to do Son out and maybe Cancelo out, something like that, as even though Son is really good and I wouldn't have any Spurs players from this, I just think that Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, and Bruno are kind of like that holy trinity in the midfield this season, and it's just important to have him. So as you can see, and with Cancelo, he has a rotation risk as Pep Roulette for that 5.5 million or 5.4, however much he is kind of a lot of money. So I think that I could use those funds better. And if I go for someone like Douglas, for example, who is the cheapest player in the game, he obviously will never play for me, but this will give me a lot of money to upgrade elsewhere. And for example, I could do if Justin falls out of favor, who knows, I could do a Justin to another defender like Reece James and double up on Chelsea defense, or a Southampton defender here like Vestergaard, or even a West Ham defender like Cresswell, because we found out they have double game weeks in about 8 weeks or so. So I think that upgrading my defense, these are kind of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about my team, about my transfer thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. So this is kind of what I have planned. That's going to wrap up this Game Week 12 team selection and tips preview video. If you guys enjoyed the video and if you made it this far, please be sure to hit that like button down below and hit the notification bell to be the first to see my weekly videos, and also hit the subscribe button if you're new. And with that being said, it's Adam FPL, and I'll see you on the other side of this game week and in the next video. Cheers, bye.